how are you doing, Angel? How are you?
I am amazing. How about yourself?
I am great too. I've got a little bit of a tickly throat, but we can't let that stop us, and I've got to get started. Ladies, I'd like to introduce you to the amazing Angel Richardson. She's an author, speaker, mentor, coach, mother, wife, and more, and YouTuber. So I'm really privileged to have you. As I was saying to you earlier, being from the UK, it's amazing to see what women in business are doing around the world and so forth. So, before we get started, I'd like to say to anybody, if they want to get a drink or they want to get a pad, I think they need to get a pad.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That's one of your things that, I love that you always talk about. Actually, you probably could share a bit about that with us, because you love journals, don't you? Using these journals to capture your ideas. So I think you've got a video on your YouTube channel about that, haven't you? Do you want to share a bit about that, Angel?
I do. I believe, first of all, I'm so grateful that you chose me to join you on this call. I don't take it lightly. I really appreciate it, and I'm so grateful for technology, because if it wasn't for YouTube, we wouldn't be sitting here talking right now. So thank you, first and foremost. Secondly, as far as writing, Cheryl, I can literally tell you, I have literally written my way to success. I don't take journaling lightly. If you study anyone that has lived a successful life, if you read their autobiographies, if you watch any of their videos, their interviews, you will never see a successful person say that they didn't write their goals down. And so when I first started learning about writing your goals down, I started with a limited mindset. And so I would write down things that I knew that I could achieve. Instead of taking to that writing session just to let my mind be free and write big. It costs absolutely nothing to dream and to write those things down. But when I first started writing, my mindset was so limited. I would just write down things that I knew that I could accomplish. Then I was introduced to one of my favorite mentors on the planet. His name is Dr. Mike Murdoch. And I was actually so blessed and honored to spend 2 days with him at a live conference. And during that conference is when I was introduced to writing as big as you possibly can. Don't limit your... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry to interject there. I was going to say that one point you just mentioned there that's very important is actually self-development, isn't it? You mentioned you were starting to go to conferences and work on yourself. Yeah, sorry to...
No, that's fine.
There when you're in mid-flow. Yeah, carry on, what?
That's really good. Yes, self-development, personal development is key. And so during this workshop is when he was like, write down your goals as big as you can possibly think of them. And that was a major mindset shift for me, because growing up, I grew up, I was the youngest of 4. I was on welfare. I don't know what it's called there in the UK, but here in the States...
They just say benefit, but we know what you mean here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, benefit.
Okay, and so I was, my mother was on welfare. I was raised in that environment and that mindset. And so now that I'm a young adult and I'm out on my own, I had to break that mindset to think that, welfare isn't the only way, and I myself, when I became an adult and moved out on my own, I too was on welfare and the home that I was living in at the time, the government was paying for that. I mean, everything. They were paying for my food, giving me cash, and I thought that was it. Like, this was how my life was going to be. Until, starting doing the personal development. It actually started way back with the Jan Levan Zant, being introduced to her.
Excellent, yeah, great.
Yeah. But when you go to sit down with your journal, you want to let loose. It's just at that time it's you, your creator, and dream as big as you possibly can. You know, it costs absolutely nothing to dream really big when you're writing.
Exactly, because, you know, what is the worst that can actually happen? It just doesn't work out, and then you can try again. You know, nothing's stopping you. You've got, the abilities to do things, over and over again until you do actually make it. But what I was going to say to you, at the time when you went to the conference, was you actually doing your, because I know you're very creative and you've had multiple businesses, was you doing any of your businesses at this time when you were attending the conference, or was you just thinking of stepping out?
I actually was. I had my cleaning business at the time.
Yeah, you've got a vision about that, haven't you? That was very good as well, some of the tips you gave that, because how did you start that, for people that haven't watched the video, just to say, if you were, from welfare and so forth, how did you go about getting your first client, so forth, that might help somebody out there?
Yeah, that's a good question. How I got my first client was I started advertising in a local newspaper. It was called The Penny Saver. And that was when I actually learned my first marketing tip. When I called to put my ad in the Penny Saver, the guy who I was talking to, he said, I know you just want to pay for one ad, but I got to tell you, people need to see you several times over and over again before they remember you, before they can trust you, and just so they can continuously see your name and get it imprinted in their mind. Because I'm thinking I'm just going to call, put my ad in the paper, and I'm going to get clients. It doesn't work that way. People, studies have shown that people have to at least see you 7 to 9 times before they make a buying decision. And so I called to put my ad in the paper for 1 week. However, when I was educated on that, I actually set up a couple weeks in a row. And that was just it. I got my first client through the newspaper called The Penny Saver, and a woman called me, and I went and cleaned her house. I loved cleaning, so I did a really good job. She loved it. She hired me. I cleaned for her for several years, and she started telling her friends, and, it went on from there.
Excellent. So that's how you started to build up your business ventures. I like that. I like that a lot. But another thing, what I like about what you do, Angel, as well, you mentioned about you help women as well, is you also build people's confidence up as well. And what's the, I know the name of it, because there might be some ladies out there. Was it the Uncommon Woman?
The Uncommon Woman, yes, the Uncommon Woman Challenge, yes. The Uncommon Woman Challenge is one of my biggest programs that I launched since I've been a life coach. What it is I take women through 18 days of personal development, and really it's 18 days of, I give rules prior to, no TV, don't carry your cell phone with you. You can have your cell phone with you, but don't carry it in your hand. I think especially in today's world, you can go to the store and you see so many people looking down at their phone, and we miss so much. So I lay out a few rules prior to the Uncommon Woman Challenge, and it's really to get women to stop. Just stop the routine of their day-to-day, what they are just on automatic to do. A lot of us, we wake up as soon as the alarm clock goes off. Some of us hit the snooze button. We don't wake up slow and express gratitude. We hit that snooze button, or we just jump to our feet, get in the shower, do what we got to do, and run out of the house. And we miss the most, in my opinion, the most important part of the day, which is the morning time. And so during the Uncommon Woman Challenge, I just really ask women, invite women to be still and to really listen to the internal voice that's inside of them that's always talking. And we just got to be still enough to listen. A lot of times we ask our friends for help. We ask our pastors, our preachers, our life coaches. But all of those answers are really inside of us. Now, the external help can come to help hold us accountable, but we have the answers inside of ourselves. And so that's what the Uncommon Woman Challenge is really all about, getting women back to who they are. and being unapologetic in that, because how can you apologize for being great? You can't apologize for being great. It's not your fault. You just are. So there's no apology necessary, but a lot of women will apologize for their greatness and apologize for being excellent in particular areas. A lot of times they'll try and play what they can do really well. They'll play it down. And I just invite them to not do that. And so the Uncommon Woman Challenge is something that I absolutely love. It takes a lot of work. It takes a whole lot of work, but it's so worth it. It's definitely worth it, the time and the investment.
Well, it would be brilliant for people to hear about, where to get information about that. Would you be able to share the website that people can actually get more information about that, Angel?
Absolutely. The Uncommon Woman Challenge is available on www.angelrichardson.com.
Brilliant. And another element I love about your work is, we're getting to the YouTube bits, but I love it, sexy and bold. I love that kind of thing. And, if you would give somebody a tip about if they're, if they're a shy person or if they're not that confident, what would be one or two tips you'd give them to actually incorporate that into their business or life journey?
Sure, absolutely. I would say start small. A lot of times, we can look at someone else who we deem has got it all together, or they are totally confident, and they don't realize the back end story of that they too could have once been a very shy person. So I say start small, even if it's something in your house, and something that I like to do, even still to this day. I'll put on heels in my home and clean my house. That makes you feel sexual and sensual, and even if you throw on a pair of heels to go in the kitchen and cook your dinner, it's about you. It's about being comfortable in the skin that you're in. So when you do that behind closed doors, by the time you leave your house, you got it going on.
And your husband, you've been with your husband, for many, many years.
For 20+ years, yep.
Exactly. Any tips there, Angels, that we can that can help us as well incorporate our relationship with business? Any tips that yourself and your husband have used to enhance things?
I'm not clear on the question. You said any tips on how to, what was that?
How they can incorporate their relationship, their business to make it flourish, because you've been together with your husband for over 25 years and, you've been able to manage and juggle business and actually being, with each other, so has there been anything that's helped you guys to be able to do that, to juggle things?
Absolutely. That's a good question. When you say to juggle things, it really is an unbalancing act. A lot of people want to live a balanced life, but the reality is when you are successful in one particular area in your life, you can best bet there's something in your life that's suffering. And so in order to quote-unquote balance that out, you really have to, like my husband totally just understands that this is my call. And I've, I'm very open on YouTube. I've even shared that my marriage has suffered infidelity. And so when I felt the need to share that on YouTube, I asked my husband for permission because I was the one who stepped out on my relationship with my husband and had an affair. And I felt like that part of my story could help someone else. But I also understood that that had a lot to do with him too, so I wanted to respect that. And so what he said to me was just that if you feel that God is leading you to share that part of your story, I can't stand in the way of that. And so I think it's very important to have a spouse or a partner or someone that you're in relationship with to understand that, number one, they're not the boss of you. That's number one. And number two is I think if they really, really love, honor, and respect you, they won't stand in the way of anything that you do. And so that's what my husband has done for me. And it's so funny because I just literally said thank you to him this morning. I just said, Doug, thank you so much for supporting me in everything that I do. Because it's not necessary. Let me say that. It is not necessary that you have someone support you, because I think that so often people wait around and, you know, they say, well, I don't have anyone to support me, or my husband thinks that I shouldn't do it, or my mother thinks that I shouldn't do it. If they don't understand that God is your ultimate boss, they'll learn. You just got to teach them and do it anyway. Now, it is obviously more peaceful if you can get everybody on the same page. However, if you cannot, you still got to do it, because your ultimate boss, in my opinion, well, my ultimate boss is God, and so that's who I have to answer to. However, I still wanted to just alert my husband and to share with him. I felt that it was important for me to share that, but he didn't stand in the way, so I'm grateful.
Excellent, that's lovely. And you've also got some about your daughters. You speak, you know, about your daughters being involved in some of your projects as well.
Yes.
How do they feel about, you know, their mommy being on YouTube, and some have been on it as well? What's their take on it, about their mom being an entrepreneur, mompreneur?
They could care less.
I love that.
They could care. They don't care not one little bit. They are, they're happy for me. You know, they're used to it. You know, and I think that sometimes, you know, I've said to my oldest daughter, she'll be 20 next month, and she's voiced her opinion. She's like, people will say, well, what is it like having a life coach as a mother? Can you slip on anything? Can you, not accomplish your goals? And she's like, no, you don't understand. She stays on us all the time. So
that's wonderful.
I think it can be a blessing and a burden all at the same time. Our gift is a blessing and a burden all at the same time. So I think, you know, they share that same view. But, yeah, they don't care. Their friends are more excited than they are. So I appreciate that.
Well, you know, in terms of, you know, technologies and even young people, they know about all this stuff. You've done amazingly well using YouTube to grow your tribe and your following. And that's how I heard about you as well. I was Googling some things, and you know, you popped up, and you've got a range of videos from vision boarding to building ladies, as I've said before, to general tips and business. It's brilliant, really. How did you go about doing that, Angel, when you were starting out?
I started out scared. Let's just be honest, okay? I started out petrified. I was so nervous. My first video, I don't even think you could hear me. I think my voice box was trembling so much. But I wanted to do it. You know, I was watching YouTube videos, and I saw myself there. And I think that once you see yourself somewhere, I think for me, it's impossible for me not to go get it until I accomplish it. It's just not an option. If I see myself there, it's not an option for me not to be there, period.
Excellent, excellent. So what has been, you've done so many videos, is there any favourites which you want to mention that people can tap into on YouTube?
I'm sorry, what was the question? You said, is there any funny bits?
No, not funny, but sorry, it must be my English accent. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Any favourite videos that you've actually done that people could actually make a start with if they want to obviously start to see your work, your videos?
Favorite videos? I would say to start with my vision board videos. Even though they're a little bit older, they are my most viewed videos. And I believe because everybody wants to, you know, everybody wants to be happy, you know. So when you talk about vision boards, you're just literally talking about some images that you paste on a piece of paper. But there's something so, number one, powerful about the actual process of creating a vision board, but it's also exciting for people to know that that's all I got to do is just see it, you know, and post it and make sure I see it every single day. You know, it's something that's so simple, however, yet it's so powerful. So I would say to start with one of my vision board videos, and if they do go to my channel and don't see anything, I also take suggestions. You know, they can contact me through the website, angelrichardson.com, shoot me an email. If there's a video that they would like for me to do, I'm totally open to that. And in 2016, actually, I'm going to be doing more business videos, giving more business tips this year, because I feel like I'm in a space where I can confidently do that. You know, I think that you should have some success of your own before you kind of start teaching other people. And so I'm going to gear my videos, do a lot more business videos this year. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, start with the vision board videos. They're always my most viewed, and they're fun.
I love them too. And you know, before we wind up and so forth, you know, one thing I like is that you actually help people if, you know, they're interested in becoming life coaches as well.
Correct.
And, yeah. Would you be able to talk about, you know, how long you've been doing that for, and you know, the name of it, and also your YouTube handle would be great as well for people to connect.
Absolutely. The YouTube handle is just simply Angel Richardson, but if you go to the website, every link that I possibly have, you can get my YouTube channel, my Facebook, my Instagram, all of that information is at the hub, you know, the angelrichardson.com. As far as teaching people how to become life coaches, it actually happened by accident. Are you familiar with Tony Gaskins?
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So as well, yeah.
Yes, I love Tony and his family. I actually worked with Tony one-on-one about 3 years ago. And I went to Tony because I wanted to learn how to just increase my business and get more visible and to gain more clients. And through working with him, he just let me know, he's like, the name of your business is Life Coaches Rock. He said, it sounds like you help life coaches, you know, become coaches that rock. And so that's not how it was set up. I was a life coach, and I always say that things rock. You know, I would be like, oh my God, her hair rocks, or her shoes rock. So everything was just amazing, and it rocked. And so that was the name of my business. But I didn't start out wanting to help other coaches. But what happened was I started coaching more people after working with Tony and him giving me amazing strategies and business tips. And I started getting more clients, and then people started coming to me saying, well, how did you become a life coach? And more people started, and I started reflecting back on the coaching session that I had with Tony Gaskins, and he's like, Angel, you're totally set up to start helping other coaches become coaches. And so that's how it started. I didn't start out like that. But yes, the coaching industry is it's something that has always been. However, people are just starting, not just starting, but in the past like 10 or 15 or so years, it's more prominent. You see it more now. And because of that, a lot of people think that, you know, everybody just wants to be a life coach now, where I don't believe that. I think that it's just more visible now. And I believe that if you are a life coach, you have been coaching all of your life. And so I always invite people to think back. You know, when you were in school or when you were in college, were you the go-to girl? Did people always come to you? You know, especially as women, we have such a good listening ear. A lot of people come to us for advice, for tips, for guidance, or just to listen to them. And so that's really important to me, to really tap into that person to make sure that they have a heart for people. You know, I don't like working with people that just think this is a fad and let me just do this. No, I believe that if you are a coach, you are a natural-born coach, and you've pretty much been doing it your entire life. And so with the coaching industry not being a regulated field as of yet, meaning anybody can hang their hat as a life coach and start charging people, I think that people should get started, if that's their passion, to get started now in coaching, because it's not regulated now. And so I think it's a prime opportunity to, if this is something that, a direction that they feel that they are being led to get started doing it now, because more often than not, they are already doing it, just not officially. All of their girlfriends call them all the time. They're just not doing it officially. So that's my main thing when working with other coaches.
Excellent. But, would you give a tip about how they could go about actually starting it, if people are coming to them and so forth, and what would you suggest they could do?
Absolutely. I would say the first thing to do is and it's something that's so simple, you may not think that it's going to make a difference, but it does. Even in their emails that they send out, even if they're not working with a email system, like MailChimp or, the email systems with collecting emails, their personal email, if they would just write their name and then underneath of it, write life coach.
Yes.
Start there.
Yeah, in the mind, yeah.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. I would start or let them know if they're on social media, change their bios. Just put life coach in it. And I would say to a lot of people, there's this is very real. It's not just a quote, but it's very real. It's your niche makes you rich. In the beginning, I didn't know my niche. I just wanted to help the entire world. And after working with Tony Gaskins, he's like, the entire world is not your marketplace, Angel. So I got educated on
that one.
Yeah.
Angel, I did.
Yes, because you just want to help everybody, but everybody is not your market. And so I would say in the beginning, if they want to start out being a life coach, start giving right now. Whatever their passion is, if they're passionate about eating healthy, start giving out eating healthy tips. Start making videos. Teach us how to make a simple, easy-to-go meal on the go for a mom or something like that. Whatever they're passionate about, start giving out those tips. When you start to give from a place of, number one, purity, and you really want to help people with your knowledge, people will feel that, and they'll start to gravitate towards you. And when you are giving out information and giving out tips, people will start to notice it and start to come back to you. And so I just say start there. Start giving from where you are right now. Even if it's just simple tips, if you don't want to get in front of the camera, or to do conference calls just like we're doing now. That is really how I built my clientele, was to do free conference calls on a weekly basis. And I'm working with women from all over the world. They're calling into this line. I'm working with, giving them tips. I'm hosting classes. And it was a way for people to get to know me, for me to get to know them, and for them to make a better buying decision, to say, you know what, I want to work with her. So I would just say... people buy from who they know, like, and trust, right. And like you said before about the guy who gave you the marketing tips, people need to actually get a taste of what you're doing before they actually think, okay, am I going to invest, in myself type of thing. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So, okay then, Angel, just as we're going to just wind up now, but, you are an author as well, and I did love the actual name of your book that you had, It's Not a Secret to Success, and you said you've actually shared multiple things about how people can enhance their success. But is there a closing statement that you can add for people to enhance their success?
Absolutely, Cheryl. That's a great question. And you mentioned the book, It's Not a Secret to Success, which I've taken out of the marketplace because I've learned so much, and I want to add a little bit more to it. However, the steps in the book, It's Not a Secret to Success, it really boils down to seeing your vision, believing in the vision that you have, speaking it, and not just speaking it into existence, not just your daily affirmations. I mean, your entire language needs to be changed around your vision and where you want to go. So I say, see it, believe it, speak it, do it, and once you do it, you're going to have to manage it. And the managing part is one of the key parts to the 5-step process that I shared in It's Not a Secret to Success, because I lost one of my businesses because I didn't manage it well. And so I had to learn how to manage a business. You know, anybody can go out here and make money, but can you manage it? So that's what I would share. See it, believe it, speak it, do it, and manage it well.
Lovely. I'm really thankful, Angel, for you to, sparing your time to speak to us and give the ladies and reaching out to other people around the world. It's amazing what you do. And I just thank you for, sharing with us here about what we can do, myself and the other ladies, to become more successful. And I thank you for that, Angel.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me into your world. I really appreciate it, and I do not take it lightly. I thank you as well.
God bless you, Angel. Thank you.